this episode of Wine About Real Estate. We are at Filipinos at the Royal Hawaiian Center. I do have to tell you, they have an amazing happy hour and it starts at noon. So come on by and check them out. Today we are with John Kiefer from Kama Aina Mortgage Group. I have Joelle Seashell, the amazing buyer's rep for Team K Squared, and I have Josh Knisley here to tell us about the wine. So, John,
all right, so for this episode, we're back to Italy. It's a Michele Chiarlo Nivola, and it's a Moscato. It's a very sweet, sparkling wine. A little off from the pizza that's on the table, but don't worry about that. So this is our we don't know the difference. Sweet, sparkling wine for this episode. All right.
Prost.
Prost. Cheers, everybody.
Oh, yeah, you like that one, right? I knew you would.
Good.
That's good.
She likes the sweet wine. That is good.
All right. So, Jojo, did you have a question for John tonight?
Yes. Actually, my question is from my buyers. Because I'm a buyer's specialist, I encounter a lot of VA buyers who have the question of what is it actually going to cost me to buy a home? So they have a VA loan. They have this idea that it's zero money to the table that they have to bring. So what does that actually mean and look like for a VA buyer?
That's a great question. It actually can be no cost loan. It can be. It couldn't be a zero down loan with no real cost, out of pocket cost, that is. So when a veteran is, one of the beauties of a VA loan is you can go zero down and not have to pay mortgage insurance and all those things like on a conventional loan. So there's always closing costs in any loan. So if anyone ever says it's a no cost loan, it's not actually a no cost loan. There's costs involved. However, with the VA loan, we can offer a lender credit to offset to cover those costs for the veteran. So let's say you can take a higher rate, slightly higher interest rate, and we'll give some rebate back to the veteran so they don't have any closing costs out of pocket. They're covered. They're still there, but they don't show up anywhere because it's covered with the higher rate.
Got it.
Or they can pay their own closing costs and have a much lower rate. So it's a trade-off. Sometimes we meet them in the middle, but as a veteran myself, I like to do everything I can to cover those costs for the veteran.
I didn't know you were a veteran. So, okay.
There's a little bit more.
Yeah.
So there is on a purchase on a VA when a veteran is purchasing a home with a VA loan, the closing costs cannot be rolled into the loan. There's a misconception. People think that a no cost.
See, that's what I thought was happening.
That's the misconception.
Okay.
On a refinance, on the other hand, you can finance all those costs and roll them into the loan, but not on a purchase.
Okay.
So ideally, if you have a VA buyer and they choose to have a slightly higher rate and take that lender credit and have no out-of-pocket expenses. The only expense they would really have is the inspection that they would do on their own.
The home inspection.
The home inspection, not the appraisal, but the actual inspection when they come in. They come in, they test everything, and whatever that costs, that would be the only out-of-pocket expense.
One last question.
Yes.
What is a point, and what does that mean?
1 point.
What is a point?
I know, it's funny that they call it a point, right?
Yeah.
It's like a free throw or something, right? But it's not. It is 1% of the loan amount.
Okay, and so how do I get a point? Or how does a buyer get a point? Not me, but a buyer.
Or not pay a point.
Or not pay a point,
yeah.
So paying points is basically buying down the rate.
Okay.
So let's just to make the math easy, let's say the loan is $500,000.
Okay.
And you want to get a rate that's like a quarter lower. You can pay whatever it is that day, maybe 1 point, which would be $5,000, 1% of $500,000.
Okay.
To get that lower rate.
And so then that would lock you in at a lower interest rate for the duration of your loan.
Yes.
Okay.
So what about the VA funding fee for disabled veterans?
For disabled veterans, okay. So for disabled veterans, they are exempt from the VA funding fee, so they don't have to pay.
Oh.
So in January 1st of 2020, the VA funding fee percentage was increased, but it was for a really good reason. In the Vietnam era, sailors were exposed to Agent Orange while they were on ships, But until now, they weren't able to get medical treatment because they weren't boots on the ground in Vietnam.
Oh.
So our government proposed the bill, the Blue Water Act, I believe it is,
Oh.
and it's kind of didn't really hit a lot of media. But what happened was they increased the VA funding fee in order to pay for the veterans who were on ships and weren't boots on the ground, but were still exposed to Agent Orange, so they can have the medical benefits that they deserve.
That's so good. My grandfather was boots on the ground, had Agent Orange exposure, and they didn't recognize that until, well, I don't know if I should say it, but anyways.
Gotcha.
So that's cool about the sailors that they finally got taken care of.
Yes, and the Marines that were, and the Air Force personnel that were on, they never landed but were exposed to Agent Orange, they're covered now.
Good.
So that's why the VA funding fee was increased this year. But if you're a disabled veteran, it's waived.
Cool.
Nice.
All right. Good.
All right. Thank you for joining us for Wine About Real Estate. Again, we were at Filipinos. Thank you for hosting us. Thank you, John, for joining us and all the great information. And I will see you all next week.